Well, hello and happy Tuesday. It has been a few weeks since I have been live, and as you can see, we have experienced a medical occurrence, and so my topic tonight includes clarity about just that, my journey with Bell's palsy. And one of the reasons why I decided to um, talk a little bit about the journey is because as I have been going through my own process, I have either had conversations um, with others who know people who have experienced it, or someone who is, gone through it. And those times of healing, of course, varies from person to person. Um, but I just want to kind of share my experiences and some of the things that I have learned for anyone who may potentially encounter it themselves, or if you know someone who encounters the Bell's palsy diagnosis. Now, I have listened to several people, as I stated, who have talked about it. And of course, you do your research and videos and things of that nature. But like I said, everyone is different. And so my part to play here is my purpose for sharing is for the purpose of clarity and to help, anyone who will listen or share this with someone about, some of the things that you could potentially do to help yourself um, through the process. And so, of course, I want to bring up my notes because I want to make sure that I don't leave anything out that is pertinent to what it is that I want to share tonight. And I hope that it will be beneficial to you. Not only that, I hope that it will bring clarity. I believe there was one video that I did, which was probably a couple of weeks into my Bell's palsy diagnosis. And of course, um, it's difficult to tell whether or not it's Bell's palsy or if it's a stroke. So I want to just kind of talk about some of those things and just, basically helping others to understand Bell's palsy, understanding it and how it may impact you. So, like I said, today I just kind of want to walk through and talk about something that can be very alarming when it happens, especially if you don't understand what's going on, and that is that facial paralysis. Um, so recently I experienced what's called Bell's palsy, and that's Bell apostrophe S, palsy, Palsy. And I realized many people either panic, uh, they're misdiagnosed, or they wait too long to be seen. And so I just kind of want to talk through that. So that's simply my goal today, not to diagnose anybody, but to help you recognize responsibly and then act wisely. Um, so let's just talk about what Bell's palsy actually is. So it's not a muscle problem, although the muscles, are weakened, and it's not a stroke. It's the inflammation of a facial nerve. All new stuff to me, but these are things I've learned. So it is inflammation of a facial nerve. I have a theory on what I think could have occurred that caused me to have the inflammation of the facial nerve, but that's neither here nor there. The nerve that controls your ability to smile, to blink, taste, and move from one side of your face, and move one side of your face. That's the nerve that's impacted. Now, for most of the cases that I've seen and I've experienced, is the right side. I haven't seen a left side so far. That's not to say that they're not out there, but I have seen most of them on the right side. So that's the nerve that runs through that very small tunnel in our skull. And so when it becomes inflamed, the signal from your brain can't travel correctly. So the face isn't damaged, the communication is interrupted. So that's what happens when that nerve gets inflamed, so that our face is not damaged. Then the communication is just cut off. And so it's interrupted. Um, so to just talk through what I experienced, and these are some of the standard things that often happens. Um, are some of the first things. So if you ever start experiencing any of these things and you've never experienced Bell's palsy, this could potentially be what is happening. So for a lot of people, including myself, it doesn't start with the droop. So that's not how it started for me. It starts really subtle, right? So the first thing that occurred is that I started to lose my taste. Food was tasting different. I thought maybe I had had something that had caused my taste buds to be off, and didn't think much of it, went to sleep that night. This was a Friday. That Saturday, I had a conference, and during that conference, I had a break. Went and got a banana. That banana tastes horrible. Couldn't taste it. It was just like metal. My tongue was just, there was no taste. And so it was like a direct down the center of my face. So on this side, I could taste it, but on this side, it was just all off. So that was the first thing that happened, was the taste started to go. Then later in the day on Saturday, I started to have a buildup of pressure, right? And there was I could tell my face was a little swollen. Still had no clue. However, what I did know was that I needed to rest. So immediately when the conference was over, I got something to eat, took some Tylenol, and I laid down, went to sleep. Didn't wake up till that Sunday morning. Still wasn't feeling all that wonderful. And so rested for the first part of the morning, and then um, got up, got myself together, got something prepared to eat. And when I went to drink coffee, I could not. So my mouth was not functioning for me to be able to drink out of a cup. So at that point, immediately, um, I asked my daughter the question, is my mouth twisted? Because I'm thinking, because I can't grip this cup, then my mouth must be twisted, which means something's going on if but I had activity of my hands, I had activity of my legs, all of that was working. So I wasn't thinking a stroke. I was kind of thinking Bell's palsy, but of course I couldn't rule out um, a stroke. But at the end of the day, I began to research really quickly and look at the symptoms, so forth and so on. And I was like, okay, so I need to get to the ER. Um, in the process of that, though, I noticed that my eye was not blinking. So that's another thing. um, and it felt somewhat irritated. There was pressure still on this side. A lot of the pressure is in the ear area and right underneath the ear where that nerve is situated. Um, there was some tightness, facial tightness. Um, and then eventually, within the next hour of that, me noticing that, everything started to make the shift. My smile shifted so I couldn't smile, those kinds of things. Um, so these are some things that you definitely want to be cognizant of. It is imperative, if you experience any of these things over a series of 24 to 48 hours, definitely go to the ER, urgent care, immediately. Um, and so there are some practical things, of course, that are, shared, that I want to share with you. And this is the most important, I guess, is the safety part is, and this is the part that is critical. Never assume, it's Bell's palsy first. I looked that up, but I also was keeping in the back of my mind, there, it could be stroke, you know. But at the end of the day, you definitely want to, it's all about timing, is what I would say. It's all about timing. So, but you do want to rule out the stroke. So that's why you didn't need to go as soon as possible. So if you're one of those persons that It's like, something happens, well, I'll see what happens in a couple of days. I'll wait it out. This is not something you want to wait out. You definitely want to go and get medical attention as soon as possible, as soon as practical. Um, if you wake up with facial weakness, go that same day and get evaluated. If the taste goes and you're feeling any kind of tingling in your face, twitching in your eye, anything like that, um, go get checked out immediately. Stroke and Bell's palsy can look similar in the beginning, so the time matters. So while, because my initial thought was, have I had a stroke? And then when I went to look in the mirror, then I thought, is this Bell's palsy? What's actually going on? But because I did not know, my whole thing was to go get checked out. So um, a lot of the things that they check when you go in, of course, is, your strength, your speech, your coordination. Um, and I know for me, they ran scans, but I wanted to definitely do a CT. That's to ensure there was no neurological damage and that I had not had a stroke so that could be ruled out. Um, and so what they say is Bell's palsy is usually diagnosed after they confirm your brain is healthy, right? So that's the CT, the whole nine, making sure that you're able to cognitively respond to all of the tests and all of the evaluations that they do. Um, so the evaluation is not an excessive type thing. So it wasn't an overreach of, evaluating and tests and things of that nature, but it is necessary for them to rule out and to determine what you're actually dealing with. Um, Here again, there's information out there, but I don't think that there has been an actual cause. They don't know exactly what causes it, but the only treatment proven to improve recovery is early anti-inflammatory medication, which is usually steroids, and ideally within the first 72 hours is what's recommended that you get, seen within 72 hours, you get on the steroids within 72 hours. Um, and then also for me, they gave me antiviral medication. And so, and then it's something to protect the eye. So it doesn't become infected or anything like that. Because it's not blinking, it's not moving, so it can be irritated, it can dry out. So you want to get some artificial teardrops, that kind of thing. And the main thing is the rest. Uh, for me, I'm so grateful that I have the flexibility and the opportunity to rest as I need to, because that has been, oh my God, that has been the power behind my recovery, is resting. And so the nerve needs to heal. Um, it reduces the stress level when you're resting, and your body has the time and has what it needs to recover. So what I want to say about that is, if you are someone who encounters the Bell's palsy, think about your rest regimen immediately. How much rest can you get in? How can you shift and change your schedule to get more rest? That may not be sleeping all the time. That may be resting the eye so that it's not trying to function unnecessarily until all functionality is back. That may be just lying still, right? That may be just not talking so that you don't overwork um, the nerve and, that side of your face. And so the rest is paramount. Whatever you can do to make sure you get the rest. And I understand there are different situations for different people. And so some people have to still go to work, and, so you have to get up, do your routine, which does prolong, I feel it prolongs the healing process, because your body doesn't have the time to recuperate and do what it needs to do. So as much rest as you can get. So if you have to work and you can get help with dinner or children or whatever, or if you're a spouse and your partner has it, or a friend, or whatever the case may be, however, someone can help you, a family member. I'm just saying from my experience, the rest is so absolutely crucial. And I feel that it is so paramount to the recovery. Now, for me, my diagnosis was on 2-1. I have been very adamant about resting, being still, change my schedule, the whole nine. As I stated, somebody else may not have that luxury or that opportunity, but it has been the catalyst behind my recovery. So I have regained about 60%, 60 between, I would say 60 and 70%, maybe 75% of my functionality. I've always been able to talk, I've always been able to speak. However, in those early days, those first 10 days or so, it was a little bit more difficult because I did not have as much functionality for speaking. I've always been able to move this side, eat on this side. Now the eye has been blinking since about 5 days in. So that's the thing that started to come back a little early was the blinking of my eye. Now I have days where the eye just runs. And so in my mind, it's coming back, it's healing itself, the whole nine. So I do have a patch where I can utilize that to help to rest it, to give it, a rest from the light and that kind of thing. So that has been helpful as well. Um, once you, they also tell you make sure you finish all of the medication. So take it when you're supposed to take it, how you're supposed to take it. That's important to help get the swelling down and get the inflammation off of the nerve. Um, After that, of course, I've done magnesium, zinc, vitamins, of course, making sure that I do some gentle facial massages each day. That's just to help those facial, muscles and things of that nature, the blood circulation on that side, helping it to work its way back. Um, so those are things you can look up on YouTube. You can look up online some exercises that you can do. I've also had a medical massage, so that's something else that has been helpful. Make sure it's someone who knows what they're doing and they're a clinical massage therapist, meaning they're familiar with all of the because some people they just do massages, but you want somebody who is clinically licensed um, in this regard, deep tissue massaging, clinical massages, so that they are familiar with all of the areas of the shoulder, neck area, facial area, that kind of thing. That was very, very beneficial for me in showing me how to, because you have the pressure that builds up. So showing me how to release that and then how to um, motivate those areas of my face. So that's super, super helpful. Um, so here again, for me, the recovery is a process. So it requires patience. So if you're not a person who is patient, it is going to try your patience. Um, Recovery is not overnight, and that part can be emotionally challenging, especially if you're a person who is in the public or you work on site and that kind of thing. And it just depends on what your personality is. Because me, my personality is talking, dealing with people on a consistent basis. I've never stopped. I've just modified my schedule. And so it's been a little challenging. And it can be uncomfortable as well as, just you don't just really want to be, out or whatever the case may be. So it just depends on, how well you handle something like this. But at the end of the day, the first small improvements um, were in those first couple of weeks. So we're about, yeah, we're 3 weeks in now. So going into my fourth week, so because this happened exactly on 2/1. And so I have just been maintaining that rest. Then it's more noticeable, after a month, I'm seeing that the improvements are getting there. So I'm thinking after the end of this month, so we got another week and a half, and we'll see what it looks like at the end of the month. And of course, I'll come back next week and let you know how it's going, and we'll see what's happening. But the healing will continue. So things like the taste hadn't fully come back. The functionality of my mouth has still not fully come back. The eye has not fully come back. So, there are pieces and parts now. I did not have a significant droop, but there is a shift, nonetheless. So there is still some paralysis there. Uh, so as you can see, we got just like that corner that is still paralyzed, but at the end of the day, we are making progress. So that's what's important. Um, and as I'm doing, I have been vlogging this pretty much every day, and just looking at my own improvements and my process. And so at some point in time, I'll share those videos, and they don't look all that hot, but at the end of the day, to just help encourage someone else that you can do it, and you can get through it. So, again, I just want to reiterate, what has helped me during my recovery is patience. Being patient with yourself, being patient with the process, prayer, understand what it means for you. That was my first initial thing, the day one. For me, it was spiritual. And while many of us we may not be physically going, but our minds are racing and going, and we're doing so much, and we're on computers, and we are thinking, and we're working, and we're doing all the things. I know for me. And so if that is you, I would just encourage you, before something occurs, take a break, slow it down. Now, I had already modified, what I was doing for 2026 and changed my schedule. But this just said to me, reduce some more, slow down some more. And so while we are um, going about life, and we're learning the things, and we are getting acclimated to all of the things, um, sometimes we are overdoing it. So rest, reducing the stress, making sure you are getting a good nutrition in the process, that gentle facial awareness, and here again, the gentle massaging, protecting your eye. Um, and so one of the things that was expressed the day of, the doctor expressed, not forcing exercises or constantly testing your face or panicking because it's not coming back, immediately, because it's going to take a while. Healing nerves reconnect slowly. So consistency beats intensity. So you want to just be consistent with the rest as much as possible, and that kind of thing. So if you ever um, embark upon any of these experiences or any of these symptoms, don't ignore it, and don't just Google it to diagnose yourself. Go get checked out. Go to ER, go to urgent care. Um, get treatment early, 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 early as you possibly can, and then allow your body the time to recover. So if you ever get to a place where you're experiencing any of the things that I shared, immediately go get checked out so that you can immediately get the medication. And here again, as I stated, my goal in sharing this is not for fear, it's for clarity. So that you know how to move, you know what to do when you hear um, somebody, saying that they are experiencing these things. You can at least ask the questions, or if you yourself start to experience any of these things, you can quickly assess, the fact that you need to get checked out. So sometimes our body interrupts our routine, so we will pay attention to it. And so that is definitely true for me. So listen early, act wisely, and rest, um, and then trust the recovery, right? So I hope this helps someone recognize, respond, and remain calm in your own process, whatever that is. Um, and here again, this was just to share my experience. If you never heard of Bell palsy, to enlighten you and inform you and educate you that there is such a thing. And here again, I'd heard of it, so I was aware that there was such a thing, and as a result of um, having that awareness, a family member of mine experienced it last year, and so um, it was a male, so I didn't hear a whole lot back, so I assumed that it wasn't too bad. Um, but however, it's different for everybody. And so I think one of the things that causes it to be more impactful for others than it may be for some is the timing of getting the medication, getting evaluated, and making sure that you rule out a stroke. Because at first sight, you cannot tell. I could not tell for sure if it was a stroke or if it was Bell's palsy. So you're not for certain. You do know that you don't, have any impact to um, the activity of your hands, and I didn't have any slurred speech or anything like that. And there are other symptoms, of course, that you can, but the main thing is getting the medical attention. So this has been a process. It's a journey, and I'm still on it. I'm still slowly getting myself back into my routine, but not rushing that process so that the nerve can heal, so that we can do the thing that we need to do. I have a different kind of work schedule now. So not that I'm not working. I'm working, y'all. I see clients, so y'all come on if y'all need help. We just on a different kind of schedule, and that's more or less on my part. So I still have the ability to be able to see my clients. However, how I manage my work outside of that had to change so that I could get the necessary rest to help myself um, recuperate and recover well. And then I'm recovering well. So, you know, um, I am going to conclude this with a line of something that came to mind this morning, and this song, of course, was um, put out by Todd Gabbard. I mean, this has been it's been a while. So, but it really just kind of rested on me this morning when I was kind of thinking about all the things that had happened. And so I'll close with this tonight. And here again, I hope this has been helpful. I hope that it helps to enlighten somebody that wasn't aware, or if you'd heard of it, that you have the opportunity to. There are other persons who have shared their stories, and I think it's important because everybody's experience is different, right? And so, as I stated, my diagnosis was 2/1 of 2026. It is now 2/17, and this is where we are. And so we were in a different place just a week or so ago. So rest, 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 and more rest. It is so very important. Lord, you are good. You've been so good. Lord, you are good. You've been better than good. I can't praise you enough. I owe you my life. I can't praise you enough. Even if I tried, 'cause you've been so good. You've been so good. You've been so good to me. The Lord has been good, and He's been kind, and He's been gracious. So thank you so much for tuning in and sitting with me for a little bit tonight. And I hope this is helpful. And we'll continue next week, and we will, yep, finish the journey. And we'll see how we are progressing. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Have a good night.